Gotta let the music finish. All right. How you doing, everybody? When it gets that close to the end of the countdown and the music is finishing up by itself, show business dictates I've got to leave it go. Got to leave it go. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. I see the usual suspects are here. A few names I don't recognize. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. It's Tuesday night. Tuesday night, let me get my little disclaimer out of the way early, or I'll forget. Not a doctor, even though this is about nutrition and health. I can't give personal advice. Can't give you medical advice. All I can do is tell you what I do, what I follow, what's worked for me, what it's done, how I do it, and my opinions on health, diet, and a range of other subjects. And then it's up to you to say this guy knows what he's talking about, or if it works for him, it should work for anybody. However you want to look at it. But I think it's probably better that way, and I think that even some of the doctors on YouTube would be better off if they didn't get too personal with people, not with lawyers and the liability of somebody blaming you for something you didn't do these days. So don't blame me for anything. Worst you can blame me for is you followed the way I cooked the steak and yours didn't turn out as good to mine. And if you feel like suing me for that, go right ahead. Well, I have been busy. I've been busy. Been busy making videos. Been busy trying to learn everything that I can learn about smoking food. I'm pretty good at smoking cigars. Been doing that a long time. Got that down to an art form, but I have never smoked food in my life. I've never done any of that. I've barbecued things, but I've never smoked anything. And this is all new to me. And it's not evidently as simple as just getting a smoker and throwing food in it. So I've been spending a lot of time reading up on it, doing research, studying all the different methods. And I think as it turns out, there may be 20 different ways just to smoke ribs. And are we talking about baby back ribs? Are we talking about St. Louis ribs, spare ribs, beef ribs? And I think it's going to be very interesting. So please, when you watch me, and I'm going to be putting out some videos, I seasoned my new smoker this afternoon. I went through the steps that were in the instructions. Took about 2.5 hours. It involved basically spraying a little oil to lightly coat the inside, the racks, and everything else. And I want to tell you this now in the hopes that I can avoid all the standard and usual comments I get. They tell you to use either vegetable oil or cooking spray like Pam, which is vegetable oil. Just like when you season carbon steel, they tell you use vegetable oil, particularly grapeseed oil. And that ignited a small firestorm when I let people know that I seasoned that pan with grapeseed oil. I got email and comment after comment after comment telling me that that's poisoning you. I sprayed Pam on the walls and the grids and the rails of the smoker. I took out the water tray and the wood chip tray. I closed the door. I turned it on. I set the temperature for 250 degrees. I kept an eye on it to make sure to make sure that I could adjust the temperature knob correctly, because the one I got doesn't have digital anything, doesn't have cell phone apps. It's the simplest of simples, made by Cuisinart. I think I'm going to really like it. It held 250 degrees perfectly, and the thermostat did a good job. I now know where to set the little knob to get 250 degrees, but I'll fine tune it. And that seems to be the optimum smoking temperature, 250 to 275, for 2.5, 3, 4 hours to smoke different kinds of meats. And it seems that there are so many techniques where you sous vide them first and then smoke to finish them, and smoke them first and then sous vide and then broil to the broil. There's so many different combinations of ways to do this. And all I can do is plow through them and taste each one and see and compare it for the texture, let's say ribs, and the moisture of the ribs, and the amount of bark that forms on the outside of the ribs, and how much seasoning. But the one thing that I have to do differently than virtually every single video I've watched, and I've been watching the videos from the guys with the 1 million sub plus channels, the one thing that they all do that I can't do, it's going to make it interesting, is season the crap. Some of these guys use 3 different seasons. They put so much of this seasoning and rubs, and all that stuff is pure sugar. And they just cover it with that stuff. And if that wasn't enough, right when they're almost done, then they coat it with barbecue sauce. So they put the rubs on, they all sugar, then they cook it. And how the hell is anybody actually tasting what meat tastes like when they eat those things? Would they even recognize the flavor of meat if you just salted it? And that's what I'm going to do, because that's what we need to do. We can't be smoking meats that are covered in 30 different kinds of sugars and spices that come from plants. Those things may be the things so many of us are sensitive to, and the reason we started this in the first place. So I guess I'm flying blind. I guess in a lot of respects. The good news is for me is that my taste buds over the past 2 years have changed. I have lost my desire for sugar-flavored meat. I love the taste of just meat and salt. And the more you eat that, some ancient memories must come back that were buried deep in our ancestral genetics. And we remember just exactly how wonderful, how great the actual meat tastes. And we don't need to make meat candy out of it. We're so much better off just eating the meat. So the thrust of all of the smoking that I do is going to be primarily meat and salt. And we'll see. We'll see if I can't figure out ways to really make it come out good. Different combinations of cooking techniques and things. But it's going to require a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of experimentation. And I know I've got a lot of comments from you all saying you can't wait to see the smoking stuff tomorrow. What I did was I cooked 2 big racks of spare ribs, the big ribs, the St. Louis ribs. I cooked them in the oven today. I cooked them for about 4 hours at about 260 degrees. And I'm going to smoke them at 250 degrees for 3 hours tomorrow. I'm filming all this. I hope you guys are interested. Didn't get 1 trillion views on my putting the smoker together video or that. Not as many as I do for my rants. But we'll see. I'm doing it. And it's just one of the types of videos that I seem to make. And some of them are more popular than other, and they seem to go in spurts. My rant on Monday, I think, was the best performing one that I've done. So maybe I'm finding a lot more people out there that are like me and just tired of this crap on a daily basis. A couple of little announcements. Next Tuesday night is my 2-year carniversary. My 2-year carniversary. And just to make sure, let me get my calendar on my cell phone out here and take a look and see. Tuesday night is the 2nd. That's 1 day late. 1 day late. And, oh no, it's not. Tuesday is the 1st. No, that's Thursday. Next Tuesday is the 30th. I'm looking at the wrong month. I'll celebrate it anyway. So next Tuesday night, I'm going to have my 2-year carniversary celebration, for whatever that's going to mean. But I have been now meat only for 2 years. And the further I go into this, and the more changes I keep seeing, even though so many of them are really subtle. Wow, Mark. They're still subtle, but they're still changing, and I'm still improving, and I think I'm getting better. And I know I'm getting older, but I think I'm getting better. Let me stop here and thank Mark Davis. Mark, you're too generous, man. I appreciate it. But I will tell you this, Mark, just so you know, that I wasn't blowing air up your skirt last week when I told you that I'm naming my smoker after you, because you basically bought it for me last week. It is officially the Mark Davis smoker. And you will see that when, in 2 or 3 days, the package from Amazon arrives with the engraved adhesive plaque that I ordered a week ago. Right after the live stream last week, I ordered it, and it will be permanently affixed to the Mark Davis smoker. And that every time I cook something in that smoker, I will refer to it as the Mark Davis smoker, unless you tell me to stop it already, and then I'll stop it. But that shows you how much I appreciated that, Mark, and I certainly appreciate this as well. Thank you so much. Anyway, I was talking about my 2-year carniversary, and that's going to be, we'll celebrate that next Tuesday. Also, I want to make another announcement, and I don't know if this is going to affect any of you guys, but where the hell did it go? August. Hang on 1 second. Bear with me. There we go. That's August. There we go. Okay, this will be after my live stream next week. But next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, which is the 2nd of August, and the following Saturday, I will be, not as a speaker, they missed the golden opportunity there, or they dodged a bullet. It depends how you look at it. At the Keto Orlando Summit. I went there last year. It's been a year, and that's how long I've been a carnivore YouTuber now, coming up on 1 year, because that's right when I launched my YouTube career in the carnivore space, was right at the time of the Keto Orlando Summit. It's when I met up with Ken Berry and Nisha. He encouraged me to do it. So I did, and look what happened. But I'm going back there. Ken and Nisha are not going to be there this year. I was kind of hoping they would, because I wanted to make fun of him and just say to him, look what you've done. look, it's your fault, you know. But he's not going to be there. But there's going to be a lot of people there. Annette Bosworth is going to be there. I met her last year. Robert Kiltz. Looking forward to meeting him. I haven't met him yet. Last year I spent a lot of time with Dave Feldman talking about cholesterol and his studies and everything he's doing. There'll be quite a few carnivore people there. There were last year, and I think carnivore is kind of inching up to keto now, becoming a little more popular as so many people realize what I realized finally after a lifetime, and that is, if you're an addict, you have to abstain. If you're an addict, you can't just have a little bit of that addictive subject in moderation. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for alcoholics. It doesn't work for hard drug users. It doesn't work for smokers trying to kick nicotine. If you're an addict, you have to abstain. And when it comes to diet, if you're a carb addict, you have to go 0 carbs. It was a hard lesson to learn because we love that shit, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And we don't want to believe. It's our greatest pleasure in life. At least it was. Any excuse we can have. Well, just limit your carbs. Just, as long as you do. And it works for some people. Those people aren't as severe an addict as we are. I'm sorry. So those of you out there, I'm sure there's a lot of keto people out there that do really well. I did well on keto. I always did well on it. I just kept falling off of it. I kept falling prey to my addictions. Something would happen. Maybe something very stressful happened to me. Maybe the temptation in certain settings and situations was just too great. And it doesn't take much. A couple bites, and that's it. That's it. Now, the great thing about me being a 2-year carnivore now is I can tell you that if you stick to this, strictly for 2 years, chances are you'll never even think about eating another sweet thing or carbohydrate. You don't. The great news is you have total and complete freedom from that. Thoughts of it don't hound you. The desire, the yearnings go away. But it doesn't happen. It diminishes greatly right in the beginning, but it takes a good deal of time after that for the last vestiges of the memories of those things, to actually go away. I see you guys are putting some QQQs in there. That's great, and I will get to them. I see Bill Cook has one. Mitch, have you done any fasting during your journey on carnivore? I'll answer that for you now, but normally in these live streams, Bill, I will do a little opening monologue or something like that. Then I'll go in and I'll say hi to some of the people that came in. And then I go back and I start searching out the questions, because I can answer general questions, but I can't do like Chafee and Ken Berry and the other doctors do, where people write in a huge long list of their numbers and ask for a diagnosis. So I can't do that. And Mark is still here. Mark Davis has done it to me again. Let's see. Let me put it up there for everybody to see, Mark. And Mark says, that's cool, but you still owe me a shopping trip to Sam's Club or Costco, LOL. Try your eggs in a pan and smoke them. Might be yummy. That would be a very complicated way to cook eggs. But you know what? Since you said that, while I have the smoker fired up and while I'm maybe smoking some ribs or something, I'll save the top rack because that stuff drips in there. You don't want well, maybe it wouldn't be bad to have the baby back ribs dripping into the eggs, but I could whip up some eggs and stick it in there and see what happens with smoked eggs. They may be terrific. They may be the most horrible thing I ever tasted. But that's why they call it experimenting. Anyway, thank you again, my friend. I really appreciate that. And you have an open invitation to come with me to Sam's or Costco. I don't know where you live, but if you're ever down here in Florida and you don't stop and see me, I'll be very, very insulted. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right, let's do this. I was talking about being over there in Orlando. It's at the I'll look it up. I don't even remember the name of the hotel. I don't stay in the hotel overnight because I'm less than an hour drive. They get ridiculous amounts of money to stay in those hotels overnight. I would much rather just drive home when it's over at 5 o'clock, and 6, you hang around talking to people a little while, but, I'll be home by 7 o'clock. And then I get up early in the morning and leave the house around 5:30 before the rush hour traffic starts. I breeze right over there. And I'm going to go it's a 4-day event. And I paid the $125 to register for the 4 days. And they have a lot of seminars and a lot of speeches and a lot of classes. And then, of course, they have the inevitable exhibitors selling every kind of crap that you can imagine. All of these keto foods and supplements and all that. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are just pure, pitfalls waiting to happen. I do great at those things. I don't ever get tired. I'm on my feet all day. Probably walk 20,000 steps before the day is out. I carry cameras with me. I am going to be popping up with live streams. When something happens, if I meet up with somebody, I will just go live right there. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but I'm hoping to maybe bring you guys some interesting stuff. I'll be doing a lot of filming. I'll be carrying a backpack with just all kinds of different cameras and audio gear and everything else, so I can maybe make some decent videos over there. Who knows what might happen? At any rate, it's going to be an adventure for me. It'll get me out of this friggin' house because I hardly ever leave this house. And I've been looking forward to this 4 months. So that's coming up, but that'll be after next week's live stream. So it's about 10 days away now. If you want to look it up on the internet, you just Keto Orlando. It's all you need to type in. And if if any of you had actually planned to come or are coming, find me. If you can't find me and you're there, just send me an email from your cell phone, oldguycarnivore@gmail.com. I don't ever turn the notifications off, except when it's a do not disturb situation, like doing a live stream, so it doesn't keep going ding, ding, ding all during this. But if you're there and you don't see me, just send me an email and we'll meet up. I would love to meet some of you. And as soon as that deal is over, I promise I'm going to start working on some meetups. My daughter over in Tampa is already trying to put one together over there in Tampa, so I'll let you know how that's coming, and looking forward to that. Hey, welcome James Gardner. Popped up here as a new member of the private community. James, welcome. Good to see you. Holy cow, Mark, what are you doing for me? Thank you, man. Do I have to wear a sign? Do I have to say sponsored by Mark Davis? Oh, let me scroll all the way down again and show you this one. Mark, that's amazing. You're amazing, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But that's enough. Please stop. Normally, I don't get embarrassed when people throw money at me, but I'm starting to get a little embarrassed by this. No, don't stop. That's all right. No, this guy's crazy. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. And let's see. There we go. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. I was going to start saying hello to some people. I got that announcement out of the way, talked about my 2-year carniversary, and I can tell you in total honesty and complete candor, in 2 years, not a piece of plant material went into my mouth. Not a single piece. Not a lettuce leaf. Not any vegetable. Not a single blueberry. Zero. I'm so proud of that, but I'm also astounded at how easy it was when I finally figured out that for the first 30 days, I just needed to stuff my face and keep myself from getting hungry. And that's why I keep giving that advice, and I keep harping on that and telling people that's how you get past the very beginning. And in the past 2 years, the first year, of course, I was keeping to myself. I was a carnivore, but I was not a carnivore YouTuber yet. I didn't want to open my mouth on YouTube until I thought I actually had something to say and had some answers. Wasn't still guessing or playing around or experimenting. And it seems to have worked out. And in that second year, I've expanded so much of my research and study in the medical fields, in the fields of biochemistry, in the fields of cellular biology, especially in the biology of metabolism, to learn the whys that this has worked so well for me. I know that it worked. I know it's amazing, but I wanted to know what's going on down there at the molecular level in every one of my cells and in my mitochondria. Why is it working? And I learned it. And I truly understand it to the limit that any, I guess I call myself a lay person because I'm not employed in the profession. I'm not a research biologist. I'm certainly not a Ben Bickman. But I have an understanding. Anytime he opens his mouth, I understand every word that comes out of it, and that's good enough for me. And for those of you who like to explore things at that level, Ben released a video today or yesterday or a day or two ago where he talks about the Randall cycle. Watch that video. It's a half hour. And if you don't get it, watch it again. And he explains things from a very simple concept level down to a beginner to moderate level of the actual chemistry that's going on. But he does it in a way that so well explains why all the people who are eating the standard American diet are constantly getting so sick, metabolically sick. why their shit just isn't working the way it should, why their brains are failing, why they're getting dementia and Alzheimer's, mental illness at alarming rates because of the lack of proper nutrition that the brain needs. And he talks about why that happens, and he does it in a great way. And I learned a lot from watching him. I understood what was going on, but I learned that if I ever need to explain it to somebody else again, I think I can do a better job of it now, following the lead of the way he explained it. And it was brilliant. So, Ben Bikman, a video on, and it's not under his channel name, Ben Bikman, but just type in the YouTube search bar, Ben Bikman, Bikman, Randall Cycle, and that video will come up. And it's really, 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 really worth watching. You will further when you listen to what happens to you when you are eating too much sugar and not eating enough fat and protein. When you learn what's going on inside, how you're destroying every cell of your body over time. If that isn't motivation enough to keep doing this, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Anyway, back at the beginning, we had Lucy Auerbach. How you doing, Lucy? And Drone Shots. My buddy Jody is here. Juan from Chile. How you doing? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Tom in Tampa's here. Viking 442. Richard Williams. Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Kathy. Florida. Hello. Had steak tonight. Feeling good. Happy to hear that, Kathy. Good to see you here tonight. And this is Satya Khalsa. How you doing from Phoenix? From Phoenix, Arizona. Good to see you. Thank you so much. And North Side Hawk said, hi, Mitch. And we won't go through too many of these, but these are the early people. Always like to say hi to them. Nick Sheehan is here. Sheeson, Nick Sheeson from England. Hi, Nick. Good to see you, mate. How you doing? No, mate, that's Australian. What do they say in England? Bloody good. Thank you. Michael Pregler's here. Hi, Michael. Good to see you, my man. And Bonnie Grant. Hi, just finished a ribeye, a noble thing to eat for dinner. Jerry Vodstus from Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Patty Molden, how you doing? From Colorado. They're coming from everywhere. Port Charlotte, Florida. Bobsack 10. Good to see you. There's enough Floridians. We should be able to get together a couple of meetups here in Florida. That's for sure. Mark C. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you. And Richard CDL Driver. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Ellen is here. Scooby the dog. Good evening, Mitch at Old Guy Carnivore. And chat friends, she says. And she's saying hi to other people. We have Chelsea Oates. Hi, Chelsea. Good to see you. Tom Philbin loves me. Thank you, Tom. Back at you. Steve Lawless. That's always been one of my favorite last names. This is very rebel-like. Like me. Like me. If everybody's going this way, I go that way. Yes, my thoughts on dairy. Without going into a long diatribe, I'll give it to you real quick. I have a tendency to forget everything else and go on vacation with these answers. I think if you can tolerate it, dairy is okay as long as it's high-fat dairy. high-fat cheeses, and not too much of it. It can be addictive. Some people can't tolerate it. There's a lot of sugar in a lot of dairy, a lot of lactose, which is not good if you're carnivore. What I would suggest to everybody, if you can, is eliminate it for a while, because it may be causing some of the things you're trying to get rid of. So eliminate it if you can for at least 30 days. And then it's one of those things that one at a time, after you've gotten a baseline of feeling good, start adding things in that you might want to include, of course, that are still carnivore, and see what happens. See if some of those old symptoms come back, or digestive issues or something. But other than that, a lot of people in carnivore use mostly cheese, I think. I don't know if there's too many milk drinkers, because most milk has a lot of sugar. But I hope that answers your question. Mark Davis, we know you're here. He said hi to everybody early. And Kenneth Bates, good evening, everybody. And Tom Philbin, I think, you the best. Thank you, man. No, you the best. And one of my favorite characters, Bart Simpson, says, barking dogs are annoying. And I second that. Oscar Rodriguez is here. How you doing? Good to see you too. CB Carmack, the man that is single-handedly responsible for getting me into this smoking meat adventure. It's your fault. I will credit you if it comes out good and blame you if it turns out to be a disaster. But thanks, CB. You planted the seed, man. What else we have? Lewis L. Hiya, Lewis. Good to see you. Grumpy Cat is here. Hey, Mitch, what's smoking? Tomorrow we're going to be smoking chicken wings and ribs. First time. We'll see what happens. Hope it isn't too hot out there. That's one thing. You got to do it outside. Mama Cracker's here. How you doing? Good to see you. Sandra McDonald from Australia. Great to see you. Good morning to you. It's Wednesday over there. And that takes us up to just after 8 o'clock when the show started. So I wanted to say one more thing, and then I'll try to search out some of the questions. I do want to thank, let me find it here. Hang on, I got to go all the way down to the bottom of this. God, there's a lot of chatting going on. Where is it? Where did it go? There it is. Little super chat from Eric Okerlund. Thank you so much, my friend. A big smiley face. Always appreciate that. Thank you so much. You can't see the smiley face on the screen, but if you saw it in the chat itself, there's a very happy looking face, and that's me. Try to be happy all the time. Thank you so much for that. Always appreciated. I got this. And this is what makes me crazy. I usually throw these away. I usually don't even look inside of them. And no, I'm not talking about yet another political ad mailer. Those, I don't care what party they're from. My mind's already made up. My philosophy is by this time you haven't made up your mind and you don't know what your core beliefs are, you do everybody a favor by just staying home. That may sound a little cruel to say, but certainly by my age, if I don't know what my political views are, and they're not unshakable by this point in my lifetime, I should stay out of the debate. Stay out of the verbal debate. I'm more and more militant about that. And I'm not going to talk politics here. I'm going to talk how annoying the politics are. and how it's getting tougher and tougher to escape this crap. And now it's invaded YouTube to the point where half of my feed is YouTube videos about breaking news, this crap, that crap. I'm at the point where I want to hide under my bed for the next 6 months so I don't have to listen to the gaslighting and the lies and the propaganda and everything else. And I'm not talking about just from one side. So when I get propaganda in the mail like this is a magazine that they send out every month. It's only about 8 or 10 pages. It's from Health First. Health First is the Medicare Advantage plan provider and owner of 7 hospitals here in the area where I live, and medical plazas. They're huge, and they, doctors, plazas, and associated doctors. These are the people that took care of my brain surgery 3 years ago. These are the people that if I use Medicare, I go through their network. When I worked out at the gym, it was their gym on the property of one of their hospitals. So it was very convenient when I fell and hurt my head that they just took me right next door to the hospital next door here in Central Florida on the coast. And they don't know shit. They just don't know shit. They are narrative, 100%. Cholesterol's high. You have to take you need to be on a statin. You need to eat no fat. You need to eat no salt. They buy the healthy fruits and vegetables. That wasn't helped much when they became a working partner to the other group here in this area of hospitals named the Advent Health System. So now, all the hospitals, save for 1 or 2 of them, they're all affiliated with the Adventist Health System, which is the Seventh-day Adventists, which is John Harvey Kellogg and the fruit and vegetable people, and the healthy whole grains, and don't eat meat because it's going to give men sexual thoughts, make them masturbate. We can't have that. And I say that, and people think I'm joking. They think I'm making a dirty joke when I say that. If you Google John Kellogg, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, Google will tell you that's why they invented breakfast cereals, so that men wouldn't eat meat and they wouldn't masturbate, because that was a sin in the eyes of God and the Seventh-day Adventists. And that's why we have this crap advice we have now. And that's why this magazine here is full of erroneous and stupid and harmful and deadly information. And it's maddening. It's maddening to read this stuff. I'm thinking about making a video and just going over this page by page. Here's the page where they tell you to slather sunscreen all over your body and stay out of the sun because it's no good for you. The number 1 rule of summer is sunscreen. Applying before leaving the house can be a hassle, but your skin will thank you. As we age, our skin becomes more sensitive. Sure, it's a whole magazine full of the wrong advice. The reason older people have a harsher reaction to the sun is they've turned themselves into a higher percentage of plant than animal. It takes years for that to happen. But as you eat all these plants, with all their phytonutrients, and their phytosterols, which is the plant's version of cholesterol, that the stuff that makes up the cells of plant walls starts to make up the cells of your walls. The plants do different things with the sunlight that hits them than the animals do. And the reason we get more and more sensitive and more sun damage the more we eat vegetables and plants is because more and more of where cholesterol should be is being replaced by plant sterols when the cells are repaired. And the cells, we're not plants. Everybody says you are what you eat. Anybody think there's anything about our physiology that resembles a plant? I don't. None of that shit makes sense. And here, this goes out to hundreds of thousands, mostly senior citizens, because this is for our Medicare Advantage plan. So you're talking about 65 and older. With the advice on every page, don't eat fat. Don't eat more than a couple ounces of lean meat. Eat all the grains. Eat the fruits. You've heard it before. It is deadly advice. And then they talk about what you need to do to prevent getting sick. You need to make 16 appointments with 35 doctors in the next 2 weeks. You need to get this screening, that screening, and the other screening. You need to have a good prescription drug plan because you're going to be buying so many frigging prescriptions that it'll break you if you don't have the right insurance. They could replace the entire organization with a huge butcher shop. Try to feed all the people meat. And the need for this ever-growing number of hospitals, number of clinics, number of doctors. And I did quite a rant about hospitals and doctors last week. You guys loved it. Thank you. But I get this stuff in the mail, and it's just more bullshit and gaslighting and propaganda and everything coming our way except reality and truth. And it's just becoming a world. It's getting harder and harder to just simply live in. Is it just me? Am I the only one that feels that way? But I went ahead and thinking about throwing out a video. Don't know how popular it'll be or people will like it, but it's just the stuff to look out for, stuff that we're subjected to. All right, I'm going to go in here to the chat. I'm going to bring up my search tool, type QQQ, and I come down to Bill Cook's question. Mitch, have you done any fasting during your journey on Carnivore? Bill? Yes and no. Now, I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, and I'm not going to leave you there. I haven't done any extended fasting, except for a couple days. And one of them, interestingly enough, was last year. I left to go over there to this Keto Orlando thing on Friday morning, the first day that I went. Even though it starts on Thursday, goes through Sunday. Thursday and Sunday are nothing days. They're basically just people showing up and people getting ready to leave. Pardon me, Friday and Saturday are the two big days. I left the house at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive over there, beat the traffic. Traffic is murder in Central Florida, like any big metropolitan area, trying to get through Orlando. And I wanted to get there before the traffic. I figured, hell, I'll just sit around and, I'll talk to people. There'll be people there early. Nobody knew me yet. I wasn't a huge YouTube star like that. Never mind. I hope that, well, maybe I don't hope so, but I expect to be recognized by somebody over there after this last year. But it'll be interesting to see. I'll let you know if anybody asks me for my autograph. Should I sign old guy? At any rate, I didn't even think about food. I didn't even think about it, which is weird. You don't go out knowing you're not going to come back till late at night without thinking, well, where am I going to eat? It didn't cross my mind. And I got there and I drink coffee. So I found a little hotel type, little cafe on the main hallway there. And they had a few tables sitting outside. So I got myself a cup of coffee and I sat down at that little table, kind of set up shop, got my cell phone out. And that's when Ken Berry and Nisha come walking in. And that's when I met him. And I went the whole day. And there was nothing there for me to eat. They had restaurants there, but I just didn't get hungry. And I stayed there till like 8 o'clock at night. I drove home, got home about 9. I said, it's too late to eat. And I didn't eat. And I didn't eat breakfast the next morning, got back in my car, went back there. I didn't even think about eating. And I ended up fasting for about 36 hours total. But it just happened that way. It wasn't planned. What I do is you call it intermittent fasting, time restricted eating, whatever you like. I eat in a 4 to 5 hour window every day. That's it. 6 on a busy, if I'm busy or something throws my schedule off. But I fast at least 18 hours every day. I'm convinced that's all the fasting you need to do, unless you have specific goals. If you weigh 600 pounds, yes, fasting could be a good way to hurry up that weight loss. But you got to get your insulin down. You got to get fat adapted. There's many things that have to happen before your metabolism will let your body actually let go of that weight. And if you want to find out why, watch that Ben Bickman video that I told you about today, where he talks about the Randall cycle, and he talks about what determines whether the body is metabolizing fat as a primary fuel or sugar, and why, when you're a sugar burner, it's almost impossible to get rid of fat. Your cells think they're starving to death, even though your body's got all this fat on it, because high insulin will not let the fat leave the fat cells. The primary goal, and we talk a lot about insulin, but the primary goal is to get your insulin down. And the only way to do that is stop eating sugar, period. Or become a type 1 diabetic. Nobody does that on purpose. In case you don't know the difference, type 1 diabetics are people whose pancreas doesn't work. They produce no insulin. Those people usually are skinny and thin, because insulin is the hormone that enables fat storage. And if you don't have any insulin and you don't inject insulin, you can't store any fat. And they waste away and they die because their pancreas is not making insulin. Type 2 diabetes is exactly the opposite. And one of the things Bickman pointed out today was that the two different designations of diabetes have nothing in common, nothing at all. They shouldn't even be called the same disease. They should have different names. Because type 2 diabetes is a disease with too much insulin, which creates insulin resistance and does a whole lot of bad things to the body that are not the same as a type 1 diabetic. But that's a whole nother lecture. I don't want to go there. So the answer to your question, Bill, is I do fast every day for at least 18 hours, and it works great for me, and I am never hungry, just never hungry, not even at the end of the 18 hours. I eat because I know I should eat a certain amount of food, and I maintain 138-pound body weight at 5'10", I have maintained this weight for almost 2 years now, give or take a pound. I can eat 3,000 calories a day and not gain an ounce. I don't lose weight. People tell me I'm too skinny. I am just right. I'm just where my body wants me to be because nothing I do affects it. It's right there. I have about 15% body fat, a BMI of 20. So I'm not scrawny. I had somebody give me a comment the other day that said, "You're looking very frail." Frail? Have you seen me do push-ups? Have you seen me walk? Have you seen me do pull-ups? Frail? I'm strong as an ox. I may look thin. I'm the furthest thing from frail. I don't know where people come off. What am I supposed to do? Go out and start eating pizza and ice cream to put on 20 pounds? Will that make me look healthier? I love it. Okay, at any rate, I hope that answers your question. Let me go to the next one here. Oh, I see. It looks like Mark Davis is at it again. Okay. Mark. Where is it? Here it is. Mark has a question here. You ran about people telling you what to do and to stop it. You just told me to stop. I may be wrong, but I... Thanks, Mark. But I told you, don't listen to me. See, I'm not crazy. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, man. Thanks so much. Okay, let's see what we got here. Next question. Let me get back over to that and I have to hit F3 here, and that will take me to the next one. And the next one says, Bill Cook, have you done any fasting? Okay, so you've asked that. You're just trying to get my attention, and that's great, and you figured it out. You typed the at old guy carnivore, and it turned up red, the 3 Qs, and that's great. And you know something? As it appears right now, you're the only one that's asked me a question so far tonight that has 3 Qs in it, because now I keep hitting the F3 key and it's just going round and round. So it appears that nobody wants to know anything else from me. Oh, we got a nice little crowd here tonight. It's like, what we got, 115 people? That's great. That's great. So who's in the chat? Who's talking? Don't make Mitch open a can of whoop-ass, says Spiking. Tom, yeah. Bill Cook says he tried a 3.5 day once. Nah, that's not for me. I could probably do it. Oh, here's a couple of questions. Good. Okay, people, I said ask questions, and they have. And this next question is from Golf Addict. Your favorite movie of all time? Wow, that's tough. That's tough. And you're going to think this is really weird. The Fifth Element. Now, do you think that's weird? Have you seen The Fifth Element? It's a Bruce Willis stars in it. It's the last movie you would expect somebody to say is their favorite movie of all time. Right up there, believe it or not, right up there with that is a Tim Allen movie, Galaxy Quest. And there's another one people say, what's wrong with you, Mitch? Other movies way up on my list are a different genre. Both of those are science fiction genre, and I love science fiction. But when you get into the movies that I really like that are more mainstream, movies like As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson, fantastic. And the reason, I'll let you in on a little something. The reason that The Fifth Element is pretty much at the top of my list. And before that, when I was younger, I just loved E.T., believe it or not. I just loved that story. That story drew more emotion out of me as a younger man than, I don't know if there's ever a movie that wrapped me up like E.T. I must have seen that movie 10 times. And I've seen Fifth Element 10 times. And I've seen Galaxy Quest 10 times. The science fiction movies, I'm a kind of a closet cinematographer. I'm a musician. And I never liked the Star Wars movies that much, even though it wasn't, the special effects alone don't do it. But in The Fifth Element, the storyline was so complicated and intricate. You had to watch the thing 5 times just to finally say, "Oh, that's what it meant." Like Interstellar, how many videos have you seen on YouTube telling you what Interstellar really meant? You go and you watch a movie, and then somebody has to come along and explain to you what you just saw. It didn't mean what you thought it meant. Let me tell you what it really meant, because you're stupid. What an insulting thing to say to somebody. But if you've never seen The Fifth Element and you want a wild ride and you want to see, it was directed by, and I think written by Luc Besson, Frenchman. And if you want to see the most amazing cinematography, special effects, color, set design, costuming, an intricate, amazing story, comedy that is so funny you'll be falling out of your chair, and it's not a comedy. And it's just an adventure and a half. It's just an adventure and a half. It's got, what's that British actor's name? That's one thing that kind of goes after a while. You stop remembering names that weren't that important to you. But it's a great movie. Great movie. I'd recommend it to anybody. So I hope that answers your question. There's many great movies I've seen, but there's a lot more real stinkers out there. That's for sure. Next one. Where is it? Here we go. Ronald Ashley has a bathroom question. How long between you go poop, he says. Amazingly, the bathroom talk is inevitable. It's a very important part of the physiological changes that happen to us when we do and just completely throw our body a curveball. Like, yeah, you thought you were burning sugar? Well, forget that. Not anymore. You are a fat burner now. The thing about eating meat, and this is something that most of us actually learn the hard way because, we don't talk about it. The big push of John Harvey Kellogg at the Battle Creek Sanitarium was for these people to take 3 huge, monumental, healthy dumps every day. That was, to them, that was his sign of good health. What that told me is when you put something in your mouth, it's supposed to be something that your body needs and it's going to use. If it was something your body needed that you put in your mouth and ate, and the body needed it and used it, you would not be taking 3 steaming dumps every day. What comes out in that case is the stuff that your body can't wait to get rid of because it doesn't know what it is. It's not good for it. In order to break it down, it requires bacteria in your gut, certain strains of bacteria, because you're not equipped. Your natural physiology has to rely on these bacteria to pretty well eat that stuff for you, which is why cows eat grass and turn it into meat. It's because of the bacteria in their huge, amazing digestive system, a digestive system we don't have. And what most carnivores find out, if you stop eating the plant material, which your body doesn't want, you're eating wood, you're eating cellulose, you're eating stuff that has no place or use whatsoever in the human body. We are not made of cellulose. We are made of fat and proteins and amino acids. When you stop eating that stuff and you start eating 100% usable for either structural repair and building or energy, there's not a whole lot left over after you digest it. Most carnivores mistake the lack of needing to go to the bathroom every day for being plugged up, because that's what we're used to. I was used to that. My poor bowel got so stretched out and blown out that I got diverticulosis. Still have it, I guess. It doesn't bother me anymore. I never got diverticulitis because it never got infected, but I have outpouchings in my colon from just being overfull, constipated, blocked up, and what did they tell me to eat? You need more fiber, which is what caused the problem in the first place. Fiber is not digestible. It just clogs things up. And yes, eventually you will move it through, but it's not a pleasant situation. And I would get so blocked up that there were times when I would get up in the middle of the night and that I would contemplate going to the hospital. I was convinced that I had an intestine, a blockage. And then I would just take a shitload of that's a funny word, shitload, because it's appropriate for this. I would take a bunch of laxatives and eventually movement commenced. Your question is simple to answer, and yet there's no one answer that you should strive for, because we're all somewhat different. First of all, depends how stretched out of shape your poor colon is. Because if it holds 3 times more than it should, then you're not moving a lot of waste through because your body's using everything you eat. It'll take you 3 times longer between movements than it would if you had a normal shaped colon or intestine. So we're all different. Depends on how much weight that we lost. And but for me, for a while, when I first started carnivore, I was going about once a week. That was it. That was all there was. Once a week. Now, after 2 years, I've learned how to eat the foods that give me the correct balance of fat that I need So I'm neither constipated or diarrhea. I'm just right now. It's fine. Everybody has to fine tune that for themselves. And what determines that is how much fat you eat. If your stools are loose, try a little less fat. If your stools are hard, add a little fat. You'll find out what foods give you the right balance, or how much butter or whatever you need to add to something, and you'll find that out. And eventually you'll settle down. A lot of carnivores just go every day. Not a whole lot, but they go every day. Some of them go up to 10 days, I've heard of. None of that is abnormal. But odds are it's not constipation if you don't go every day. And that's the hardest thing after living a life of just expecting to go every day because we're eating so much crap that our body doesn't want. It's hard to accept the fact that there isn't something wrong with us. And we all worry about it, and it's normal. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see what else we got here. How long between poop? Mitch, are you going to set up a camera to watch your smoker? Well, you laugh, but I have 7 cameras outside of my house that are already out there, and I can, but I don't have one of them pointing at this where I've got the smoker now. I don't know. I have a very interesting thing that I have a program. It's called IV Cam. You put it on your computer, IV CAM. Put it on your computer, and let me show you. IV Cam. I have it on my computer because I can use these. I can do that in a live stream. I can take an old cell phone, run the IV Cam app on it, put the IV Cam client on my computer, and I have a wireless camera now, and whatever's on the camera from the cell phone goes over my Wi-Fi network and shows up on my computer. Let me see, just for grins here, just for fun. Do I have IV Cam on my phone here? Let's see if I have IV Cam on this phone, because I have old cell phones. Yes. Okay. So we have IV. Oops. I had it and I lost it. Let's see here. IV Cam. Search for it. There it is. Okay. IV camera, video recorder, camera, sound recording. Yes. Okay. Allow. Okay. Now it says that it's searching for, so you never know what you're going to get to see on one of Mitch's live streams. It says it's searching for it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run IV Cam on my computer. And you won't see it, but a window will open up somewhere on these 3 monitors. There it is. All right, I'm going to show you that. It's in the center of that screen. See it there? So whatever this thing is pointed at, let me get it the right way. Here you go. Whatever this camera is pointed at, I can see on my computer screen, and you can see it there too. And now when I push this button on my little control button, it's going to take this and it's going to make it the whole picture. So I can take this camera now and take people on a tour. See, I can go all around. I can go anywhere in the house with this cell phone, and you can see exactly. There's my desk. There's the door out. There's the green screen behind me. You see how cool is that? And the professional photography equipment pole setup that I have holding that up. All my memorabilia all over this place. At any rate, that's that. If any of you have a smoker or a barbecue grill outside, let me go ahead and turn this thing off now. any of you that have that outside, and remember the name of that app, IVCam. And you could take a notebook computer or something, and an old cell phone, or even the cell phone that you use now. It's a free app, doesn't cost anything. And you can turn your old phone into a wireless camera that you can just use whenever you want to, whenever you need it. And it works out great. Just a tech tip from your Uncle Mitch. So, yes, the question is, I probably may, if I'm going to be doing a long smoke and I don't want to be running out there every 15 minutes to check, it would be a good idea to, I also have wireless Bluetooth thermometers, or wireless thermometers like the meter that I can stick in the meat out there, and then I can monitor the temperature on my cell phone and keep an eye on it. So we have all that technology now, and it's great. It's handy. Works super. Are you going to set up a camera? There's the poop question. And I think I only have left in the chat just the three. The movie question, watch The Smoker. And now some of you have agreed with me about The Fifth Element. Tom, see, a technical person. Another thing about The Fifth Element, Tom, and you'll agree with me on this, is the music. Oh, the music is fabulous. And Chris Tucker, if you know who Chris Tucker is, the black comedian guy, he has the most amazing role in The Fifth Element. He plays a character named Ruby Rod. It's fabulous, just fabulous. Sherry Morgan, how you doing? What are your thoughts on dental care? Best way to find a good one for ceramic implants. Thank you. Wow. Dental care. Well, I have two implants. My two eye teeth here, two bicuspids. When I was a kid, I had a filling, happy dentist. And the more filling, the less tooth there was to rot. He forgot to think that some of us live past 12 years old. And that if you leave the walls of a tooth that thin because you've drilled so much of it away, it's likely to break. And I've had a lot of that happen. And both of my eye teeth, when the wall broke finally, it split right up. The entire root had to come out. So I have two implants there. I brush my teeth with if you're talking about you're not talking about dentists, but you're talking about daily dental care. I brush my teeth with an Oral, is it an Oral-B or Philips electric toothbrush? Sonicare. It's a Sonicare. And I always do it for the full program, which is like 2 minutes. And then I have a water pick. And I go through a whole tub of water. It takes me about 5 minutes to go through that routine. I do it every night. And then every time after I eat, I use these floss pick things. Not the floss, but the picks with the little bristly brush on the end to get all food out. And I'm doing pretty good. I haven't had a cavity in 30 years, but things break occasionally, and, your teeth get old. And my teeth have gotten horribly stained, especially my bottom teeth, and there's nothing I can do about that. Well, there is, but it's just all cosmetic, and I don't want to spend that many thousands of dollars on that. But my teeth are healthy and pretty good shape, so I don't know if that's the question you had in mind, but thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that very much. And let's see what else we got here. We got somebody likes The Wizard of Oz. Tammy, how you doing, Tammy? Good to see you. CB says Healing Humanity will outdo all of those. Yeah, Curry's making a hell of a film. Did you see the trailer? He's released it. He put it out there. He had sent me a copy of that trailer early on, and he said, "Don't talk about it. Don't show it to anybody." But then I see he's actually had it out on that last live stream he had. He showed the trailer. A lot of work in that. Lot of work. I wish him the best with that. Kathy saw Bruce Willis at the French Bakery in Delray Beach about 7 years ago. He's not doing well these days, from what you see. Not doing well. Hey, Jonathan's here. Bags Pack family. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Unless you people ask me some questions, or we get off on a subject that is something you want to know, I hadn't planned on talking about much else. Ellen doesn't like science fiction, so that explains that. I want to thank you for the gift membership. I'm not sure for how long, but I'm enjoying this. That's, is it Rinda? It wasn't me. Some people actually buy 5 or 10 gift memberships, and they're good for a month. And then you have to decide if you want to stay in. It's like $4 a month to be a member of the community. People come and go, no obligation. Some people really enjoy it. I enjoy it. I got to work for it. But yeah. And if it's not for you, come to the live stream Thursday night. If you enjoy it, you might want to stick around. You can drop out and jump back in anytime you want. It's up to you. It's up to you. Most YouTubers have something like that. Most of them have a much higher price level. I tried to keep it cheap. You hear a lot of YouTubers have Patreon. And Ken Berry, I don't know who his is with. He's got a huge private community. I think his start at $5 and go up. You get increasingly more benefits, more live streams, Zoom calls and all that. The more it goes. And everybody who does that, I think, deserves it. And if people don't want to do it, nobody's forcing them. I put all the stuff out there, assuming it's for everybody. I do that one live stream, and occasionally, if I get ahead on videos and get a couple of them done, I'll release them in advance, and the private community guys can see them a day or two before. But I haven't been so busy lately, I haven't been ahead of myself enough to do that. I also, if you don't know this, you may or may not be interested, but on every private community live stream on Thursday night, in the description of the video is a link where you can download a free copy of the book that I wrote 22 years ago called Taming the Beast Within. It's a wild book. It's very strange. It's not for everybody. It's my story of how we got here, how the story of what I think is the real and believable way that everything came together to give us what we have today. And I'm not an author. I wrote the book because it was in me. I wanted to get it out. I still believe everything, except the diet advice I gave in that book was where I was 22 years ago and what I believed. More paleo Atkins type. I wasn't carnivore yet. That my opinions have evolved with the research and what we've learned. But virtually everything else that I wrote in that book about how it all works. And I talked about the sixth sense. I talked about where the feelings we get come from, where our behaviors come from. I talk about evolution. I talk about all that stuff. My book is not for a deeply religious person. They're going to disagree with everything I said. And that's, but it's the best I could do. I see we got another golf addict here. Another question. I see a super chat. Let me find that. But you get a free copy, a free download, a PDF. You can read it on your computer or a Kindle or anything like that. And you don't have to give it back if you decide you don't want to stay in the private community. I hope you enjoy the book. It's on Amazon. It's sold a few copies, but never enough to mean anything. Nobody was ready for it. Thank you, Golf Addict. And I have learned what Golf Addict's nickname is, what he's referred to as. And I remember, and I'm going to be referring to Golf Addict by that name. I assume he wanted me to because he emailed me. So from here on out, my friends, when we see Golf Addict, we think Spanky. And Spanky is a name to me that is endearing because I have my own Spanky. I have my own Spanky right here. And that, my friends, is Spanky. For those of you who've never seen Spanky before, he was my sidekick on my drone channel. And I made Spanky small. I made him small for that. And let's see. Nope, that's the background. I can't do it now. I made him small, and he sat over there behind me. And the guys who watched my drone videos and the workshop sessions and all that stuff that I did loved him. But the people on the Carnivore channel aren't crazy about him for some reason. So I don't bring Spanky in. But Spanky is a name I will not forget. So there you go. And you said music is great in The Fifth Element, especially the Blue Alien Lady. Oh my God, I can still hear it. I can still hear that. And I think the actress that played that character, Bella Laguna, remember? Bella Laguna. I think that was Luc Besson's wife. And of course, she was not a singer. She lip-synced along with some famous opera singer who actually sang that. But that was but all of the music, so much of it, had a almost Middle Eastern flavor to it, especially the scenes where they're chasing Bruce Willis in the taxi cab. And the emotion that the music evoked in that movie was perfect. And when I watch a movie like that, I dissect it. I dissect it down to all of its individual parts and focus on one part of it while I'm watching it that particular time. I might just focus on the music, just focus on the editing, focus on the comedy, focus on the special effects. This way you have to watch to really appreciate what goes into making a movie like that, the artistry of a great movie. You have to watch it so many times and pay attention to different things each time to be able to appreciate the genius that went into them. And that movie had it all. That movie had it all. The story was so intricate. It was started out great and it stayed great right to the end, right to the very end. And each of the it had so many characters in it. So many amazing different characters and personalities, and some of them were an absolute riot. They were an absolute riot. And God, I know like I know my own name, but I'm having one of those tip of my tongue moments. The actor that played Zorg in that movie, fabulous. And I'm talking about some big name actors in that movie too. CB likes as good as it gets. Yeah. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Let's see if anybody's put any more QQQs in here. No, the last one was the poop question. Here's somebody put, when the smoker, okay, when are the, oh, Mark, how you doing, Mark? When are the smoker videos coming? Well, I'm going to film the first one tomorrow, so it'll probably be Thursday. I'm going to film the one where I do the ribs and some chicken wings, and we'll see how they come out. And whether they come out good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to still release the video because I just like I filmed the assembly of the thing. If anybody thinks they might want to get involved in this, I want to show you what you're going to be involved in, what's going to take. It's outside, you know. It was an easy thing to put together, though. Easy thing. That's why I put on the thumbnail. It's so easy a 77-year-old can do it. Oh man, look who's here. Metro Drones, you did it again to me. How you doing? How you doing? Don't say that. Oh, it's Mark. It's not Metro Drones. It's Mark Davis again. Sorry, Mark. I saw orange instead of red, but that's okay. Mark Davis says, the truth is Mitch has a doggie. I'm his doggie, and he named me Fitch. Mitch has stopped taking me shopping, so I'm going to poop. Oh, man. That's funny. I don't want a dog. I keep telling people I don't want a dog. I think for me, one of the, as a bachelor, and seeing what my kids, who both have dogs and or cats or combinations of both, what they have, the logistics that they have to go through to make sure that the dog is fed and the dog is walked when they have to go out of town or do something. The vet bills these days. The vet bills. So many of you know that, and it's sad. And they got you. They got you. You can't. A vet tells you your dog needs a $7,000. Somebody told me that very recently in a comment that their dog needed a $7,000 operation. Are you going to say no? You may as well be deciding for one of your kids because you get so attached to dogs. I had a great friend of mine. One of my many friends that's dead now. One of my vegan friends that is gone. One of the ones that used to tell me how much I was killing myself by eating the meat and the saturated fat, directing me towards Furman videos, vegan videos. Crazy, crazy. Anyway, Mark, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Where was I? I'm thirsty where I am. I'm talking for an hour and a half here nonstop. Still got 100 people. Wow. I keep trying to scare you guys away, but I don't. I think I scared away some of the morons, though. The moron comments have been since my rant yesterday morning, the moron comments have dried up. Honest. I haven't gotten a single doggy comment in almost 2 days. It's crazy. It's nuts. And I know you all think I hate those things, but they're great material. You know, if you're a comedian, you need material for your act, and they give me something to, they do give me something to say. The good news is I've got hundreds of them saved up that you haven't heard yet, so I can always go back into the archives a little bit. And what I do, just so you know, is on my cell phone, I answer most of the comments that I answer. I do from my cell phone, and I do it from my cell phone because I use voice typing. I can't type, pardon me, all that on tiny little keyboards or even regular keyboards. I'm not a great typist. I'm a very fast 3 or 4 finger typist. So what I do is I just dictate. And you know, when you dictate answers, especially if they're long, you have to say the punctuation. You have to say, thank you, comma, so-and-so, comma, you know. A lot of times it forgets to capitalize a name. I try to be as correct as I can, so then I got to go back manually on a tiny little thing and find the space there and backspace over the letter to make it capital, so the name starts with a capital. Sometimes it just hears you wrong and prints the wrong word. So if you get an answer from me that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, you can pretty well assume that I was in the middle of answering hundreds of comments, trying to get to everybody. Voice typing, old Google didn't understand what I said correctly and put some nonsense in there. And I didn't do it on purpose. But because I'm using my cell phone, when I see one of these comments and I answer it, I just take a quick screenshot of it. And then I go into my screenshots, and as you can see, these are all comments that I haven't talked to you about yet. So I'm pretty well set on a few comments, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get more. I'd bet on it. I'd bet money on it. But I eagerly look for those things. Believe me, I like to make a big deal out of them because they're just the stupidity among the human race is at all time record high, and we're not going to last. We're not going to make it. I'm praying, and again, I'm not religious, and I use that word metaphorically. I'm praying that we can make it through the next 6 months in this country, and after this last week of like I said, the gaslighting and the just absolutely incredibly outrageous stuff that I've seen and heard, I can't see it doing anything. Everybody's got their side. Everybody is telling a story. Fact has nothing whatsoever to do with it. Everybody's got a story. Let's see here. Did I have any more QQQs in here? Let me try that again. No, but I have a couple of one of the smoker videos coming. Told you that. By the way using mine got me down to 208 pounds from 270. Mark, that's fabulous. Starting this lifestyle this past January. That's tremendous. That's over 60 pounds in 6 months. That's a good rate of weight loss. I don't think you want to lose weight unless you weigh 700 pounds any faster than that. Oh, grumpy cat. See you guys. Gary Oldman is the guy who played Zorg. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman. He's a great actor. If you remember him, he played the terrorist in was it Air Force One, the one where Harrison Ford was the president. I know there were so many of those kidnap the president movies. I hope I haven't confused them, but Gary Oldman, yeah. And you see what happened there? I talked to you about the subconscious mind and how the harder you try to remember something, the further away it gets. When you stop thinking about it and move on, you've programmed your subconscious to do a job by itself. It continues to work on your problem. It finds the answer for you and pops it in to your conscious mind when you're not even thinking about it. That happens to all of us. It happens all the time. And it just happened to me. I know that. Gary Oldman, I know that name. It's a name I've known for years. I could not recall it. And until I forgot that I was trying to remember it, and it just popped into my head. Just popped into my head because I started picturing some of the actors that were in that movie because of this comment I was reading here, which triggered that. And the comment from Grumpy Cat was a comment. Anybody else want to negotiate? And if you've seen that movie, you'll remember the scene. You will remember the scene. Anybody else want to negotiate? That whole movie was like that, wasn't it? It was crazy. I could watch it once every 6 months. And Galaxy Quest was just so silly and funny that. And if you've never seen Galaxy Quest, it was a movie based on a Star Trek-like TV show that had run its course, and the actors from this show were has-beens, and they spent their life doing Trekkie-like conventions and personal appearances at the openings of stores and things like that, and they hated each other. And it was just a movie that nobody ever expected to go anywhere, and it became kind of a cult. It's one of those movies that became a cult. Gary Oldman was good in the Book of Eli. He's good in virtually every movie that he appears in. He's a great actor. And Chelsea says you can hire me to be your typist. Unfortunately, I'm not in Florida. Papa Carnivore says, and he's down 97 pounds. Hey man, congratulations. Let me both of you guys. This is for both of you guys. Both of you guys deserve that. Juan says, same director of Fifth Element was in Leon and Matilda. Yeah, that was Luc Besson. He's directed a lot of movies, and he is a great director. But this one, the Fifth Element, was his baby. Took him. I saw the story of how that came about. It was a crazy amount of work, and my daughter's here. My daughter's here. Diane. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. I'm just trying to keep up. There she is. Dad, you totally missed me. Diane Jones. That's my daughter. How are you, sweetie? Where did I miss you? And B says, question, could you please say something to your daughter? We're not going to. D, you see what you got yourself into here. This is quite a group. Dixie Scott's here. How you doing? Good to see you. And Papa Carnivore renewed his membership. Thank you. Thank you. There it is. Dad, you totally missed me, she said. Well, let me search for you and see what I missed. Hang on a second. Diane Jones said, hi, Dad. And then Janice Childers says, Diane Jones, hi. Is old guy Carnivore really your dad? And then Diane says, yes, the old guy is my dad. This is funny. And Aunt B says, Diane Jones, hello. This is great. And Tom, you live right over there near she lives in Trinity. You know where that is, right up in Pasco County. You guys are neighbors. My son-in-law, Rob, works for ExecuJet at the St. He's not in Tampa. He's over in Clearwater, the airport, I think. Or is it in Tampa? If I'm not mistaken, he's over there on the I don't know. I think he's over in Clearwater, but I don't get over to the airport where he works very often. Hi, Diane. We love your dad, says Tom. Wow, you were really busy while I was missing you, weren't you? Janice Childers, wow, nice to meet you. He's a great guy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ellen. Hi, Diane. Are you Mitch's daughter? I'm Ellen. Good to meet you. Oh, that's great. Taming the Beast Within sounds like a couple's book, says Spanky. Yeah, that's the furthest thing that it is. And then Tom said to me, your little girl's in the chat. And Ellen says, yes, I like your explanation of the sixth sense, energy, waves, etc. You went in to a bit in a video. I agree. Yeah, I think you probably read my book. At least you had an opportunity to. And the next one, I think that was all. Oh, here we go. From Diane. Tammy Pitarch said hi to you. Tom laughed and said he's a talker. Yes, he is a talker. Tell me about it. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Stop it. That's great. That's great, guys. That's great. That's good. Let's see. She says, tell me about it all my life. Oh, this happened. You've been here quite a while, Dee. Haven't you? Wow. And then Tammy says, I see a question down here. I don't get notification messages about when you'll be on. I don't know why YouTube does that. If you click the bell, they should notify. When I post a live stream, if you click the bell, the notification, you should get them. But they don't do it. They unsubscribe people. Not just from me, from everybody. It's common across YouTube. I don't know what to tell you. You know my schedule, my live stream schedule, Saturday at 3, Tuesday at 8 p.m., and then the private community, Thursday at 7 p.m. Other than that, I usually release my videos 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon here on the East Coast. Ann Johnson, is everyone here on Carnivore? I think most of us are. There's some keto people are welcome here too. Nothing wrong with keto if you're not a carb addict, and you can stick to 10, 20 grams a day of broccoli and stuff like that. But the minute you start going off trying to make sweet things to mimic all of those addictive foods, you're done. You just fall off of it. Diane says, watch it. Those are my babies you're talking about. I was talking about her doggies. Her doggies. Her doggies are not really dogs. They're horses in disguise. You have never seen, she has these doodles that, how tall are they, D? 4.5 feet on their four legs? They're huge. And they love to jump up on me. And I mean, they're gorgeous dogs. They're gorgeous dogs. And she's got one dog. Smokey. That's a dark gray doodle, big. And when you're eating, this dog plants himself right in front of you. Paws out and on the ground, and he plants, and he stands there, and he stares, and he doesn't move, and he doesn't blink, and it's unnerving as hell. Now, I know my daughter's laughing her ass off if she's still in here. They're characters. Okay, I think I've seen everything. Diane Jones, hello. Oh, here's one. Another question. Chelsea Oates, I think my question got lost in the chat. Mitch, did you ever have heartburn before Carnivore, and did Carnivore help? No. That's one thing. I've had a lot of things in my life, but I never had heartburn or indigestion. I had the opposite. I mean, my distress came on the other side of my stomach, not in the esophageal area, but what came after. I was always felt bloated, always constipated all my life, plugged up, terrible. But no, I was lucky. At least I didn't have that. And I'm scouring the chat here, still looking for more questions. Where's the download of your book? Rallo fan says. It's only free to the people who are in the private community, and when you're in the private community, you will get access to the Thursday night live streams, and the download to the book is in the description of that live stream. You know what? It's almost time to call it a night, because it is almost 5 minutes to 10. And because I've been jumping around the chat searching for things, I keep going back over the same thing. So let me get down to the bottom of the chat and see what the latest is. Diane Jones. Yep, that's Smokey. His focus is impressive. You have no idea. I dare any of you to enter a staring contest with this dog. It is. D is leaving. Okay, this old guy's kid is tired night all. Yeah, my kids can't keep up with me. I go out to lunch with my son. I'm still eating. He gives up. He's twice the size of me. I mean, literally twice the size of me, and I can out-eat him when it comes to eating meat. It's crazy. Your dog sounds. One of her dogs is young and still a little on the, let's say, untamed and wild, misbehaving side. Smokey's mellowed out pretty good, but these dogs are big. Mitch doesn't like dogs, so I bet he's hoping we'll start talking about dogs. No, you can talk about dogs. I don't say that I hate dogs. I don't want a dog. I don't want to have to take care. I love other people's dogs are great, as long as they're not bothering me. And and my kids both know how I feel about dogs. There's no uncertain terms, and they humor me when I go over to Tampa to visit my daughter. she knows that when I walk in, I do not want the dogs knocking me over and scratching me all up. And she puts them away for a while. But I don't make any bones about it. But I don't hate those dogs. I just don't. I don't want to be attacked by them. And I also recognize how important a part of her life they are, and would never in any way want to deny her that. So I've always said, if you get pleasure from anything that I might not find amazing, I don't like to play golf. I think it's a dumb game, but that doesn't mean nobody should play golf. My father, golf was his entire life. That's all there was. It was golf, working golf. So with me, I have a lot of strange things I do, strange hobbies that other people don't want anything to do with and can't see why. We're all that different. At any rate, everybody else is saying goodnight to Diane. Dee, if you're still here, I'm thrilled that you came in. I'm thrilled that you came in, and thank you guys for pointing out that she was here. It is 5 minutes to 10. I think, what, you don't like golf, says Golf Addict? Sorry, Spanky, but my father tried when I was a kid. He tried, and I think by trying so hard to get me interested in golf, he scared me away from it. Mitch, have you used your smoker yet? No, tomorrow, Papa Carnivore, tomorrow. I seasoned it today, which basically is just heating it up and letting any impurities or cleaning whatever materials, paint that's inside, burn itself out. And it did. It smoked for a little while, and then it stopped smelling, and it's nice and clean in there now. Tomorrow I'm going to smoke ribs and chicken wings. So as long as you have a dog that has manners, you're good. Yeah, there's dogs. There's service dogs. These dogs are amazing. I don't deny anybody their dogs, as long as they don't ruin my life. I've had a lot of neighbors with dogs that just kept me up all night barking. You know, that's not right. That's not right. Okay, Aunt B is pushing me out. And you're right, Aunt B, we don't want to go more than 2 hours. It's time for the exit music. There you go. Give you all a chance to say goodnight. Thanks for coming, everybody. The fastest 2 hours in show business history, it seems. I don't know where the time goes. I just don't. When we're doing these things and I'm sitting here talking, I don't know where the time goes. 2 hours. You guys participate and keep me going. You know, you keep the conversation alive. Mark Davis, thank you for everything tonight. Much appreciated. Spanky, thank you too. Sherry Morgan, thank you so much. Eric Oakland, thank you too, my friend. Always appreciated. So with that, you know what's coming. See you Thursday night in the private community. And again Saturday at 3 p.m. for another live stream for everybody. I've enjoyed it tonight. And now I'm going to give you all the rest of the day off and tell you to eat meat.